The moment my daughter-in-law said, "Hey, do not forget to finish the leftovers in the fridge," I froze mid-step. Her voice carried no warmth, no trace of kindness, only that casual sharpness people use when they think you are beneath them. The kitchen was spotless, smelling faintly of lemon and roasted chicken. I had spent the entire morning cleaning and cooking, trying to make their weekend easier. But those words, the leftovers, sliced through me like a knife. I turned slowly, my hands trembling, and our eyes met. She smiled, a sweet, practiced smile that did not reach her eyes. And in that instant, I knew something was deeply wrong. But what I discovered in that fridge later that evening made my stomach twist in disbelief. Before I go on, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who has been following my stories. You are the reason I continue to share these real, painful experiences. To my new viewers, welcome. I would be so grateful if you subscribed and joined this growing family. Your likes and comments truly help this channel reach more people who may need to hear stories like this one. Now, let me tell you how that simple sentence about leftovers changed the way I saw my son's home forever. My name is Kathy. I am 59 years old and I live alone in a small town in Ohio. My husband, Richard, passed away 6 years ago. Since then, my son Antonio has been my anchor, my only child, my pride. When he married Diana 3 years ago, I was overjoyed. She was beautiful, polite, and ambitious. I thought she would be the daughter I never had. But as months turned into years, the warmth in Diana's tone faded. She became distant, formal, as though I was a guest who had overstayed her welcome. Still, I told myself it was my imagination. Antonio adored her, and I did not want to stir any trouble. That weekend, Antonio had invited me over, saying, "Mom, come spend a few days with us. It has been too long." I had baked his favorite lemon cake and packed my small suitcase with excitement. I wanted to feel needed again, to see my son, to cook for them, to hear laughter in the house. When I arrived, Diana greeted me with a thin smile. "You did not have to come all this way, Kathy," she said, her eyes darting toward the spotless living room. "I like keeping things minimal here." Her words hung in the air like perfume, sweet but suffocating. Over the next day, I noticed small things. She sighed every time I offered to help. She re-washed dishes I had already cleaned. She whispered to Antonio when I left the room. But that afternoon, I decided to cook them a hearty lunch: chicken pot pie, mashed potatoes, and salad. The kitchen filled with the smell of butter and thyme. When they came home, Antonio smiled, grateful, but Diana barely touched her plate. After dinner, as I wiped the counter, she leaned by the fridge and said, "Hey, do not forget to finish the leftovers in the fridge." Her tone was dismissive, almost commanding. Leftovers. I looked inside, my pot pie packed neatly in containers, pushed to the side like something unwanted. My heart sunk. Still, I said nothing. I just nodded and smiled. But when I turned back, I saw her eyes, cold, calculating, watching me the way one might watch an intruder. That night, I lay awake in the guest room, my thoughts circling endlessly. Why would she speak to me that way? Had I done something wrong? The house was silent, but I could not rest. So I went to the kitchen for some water. And when I opened the fridge door, I saw something there that made my breath catch. Inside, tucked behind the containers of my food, was a small note with my name written on it in Diana's handwriting. The note was folded neatly, like something meant to be hidden. My fingers trembled as I pulled it from behind the containers. The smell of cold gravy and lemon pie mixed with something metallic in the air. Fear, maybe. It was short, Just one line written in Diana's perfect, elegant handwriting. Some people never know when their time to leave has come. For a long moment, I could not breathe. The refrigerator hummed softly, the only sound in the room. My eyes blurred with disbelief. Was it meant for me? Or was I losing my mind? I placed the note back exactly where I found it and closed the fridge quietly. The house felt colder after that, like even the walls were keeping secrets. The next morning, Diana greeted me with a smile that could have fooled anyone. "Good morning, Kathy. Did you sleep well?" Her voice was sweet, but her eyes, those sharp, assessing eyes, flickered for just a moment with something I could not name. Antonia was sipping coffee, oblivious. "Mom, we're having friends over for dinner tonight. Diana's idea. You'll love them." I smiled weakly, pretending everything was fine. Inside, though, I was trembling. For the rest of the day, I moved around the house like a ghost. I cleaned the dishes, folded laundry, and tried to ignore the way Diana watched me. The slight smirk when I accidentally dropped a cup, the sigh when I offered to help with the cooking. In the afternoon, I baked a small apple pie, something Antonio had loved since childhood. I placed it carefully on the counter. But later, when I came back to the kitchen, the pie was gone. The trash bin was half open. Inside, I saw the pie crushed beneath eggshells and coffee grounds. My throat tightened. I turned slowly, and there she was, standing in the doorway, holding her phone, pretending to scroll. "Oh, Kathy, I thought that was yesterday's dessert. You know, the leftovers." Her smile was cruel. Before I could speak, Antonio walked in, cheerful. "Hey, what are you two talking about?" Diana turned to him with effortless sweetness. "Just cleaning up, love. Your mom made a mess, but it's fine. I'll take care of it." My heart broke in that moment, not because of her words, but because Antonio believed her. That evening, their friends arrived, a young couple with loud laughter and designer clothes. Diana poured wine, laughed too loudly, and made sure everyone noticed how helpful I was being. At one point, she said, "You know, Antonio's mom still acts like she runs the house. Some people just cannot let go, can they?" The table went silent. My son shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. My cheeks burned with humiliation. I set the plates down quietly, pretending not to care. But inside, something broke. That night, I sat by the window in the guest room, staring out into the darkness. The moonlight spilled across the floor, pale and unforgiving. I could not stop hearing her voice, replaying those words again and again. I almost packed my bags, but then, just as I stood up, I heard them. Through the thin walls, Diana's voice drifted down the hall. "She needs to stop coming here, Antonio. She acts like this is her house. I can't stand it. And that money she has saved, you know we could use that to finally fix this place. She's old. She doesn't need much." My heart stopped. Antonio's voice was quiet. "Diana, please. She's my mother." "She's a burden," Diana snapped. "And if you don't handle it, I will." The sound of footsteps followed, a door closing, and then silence. That was the night I realized the note in the fridge was not a mistake. It was a warning, and Diana truly wanted me gone. I barely slept that night. Every creak in the hallway, every whisper of the wind against the window felt like a threat. Diana's words replayed in my head. "She's a burden." I kept hearing it over and over, like a song meant to drive me insane. By morning, I had decided something. I would not confront her with tears. I would confront her with truth. If she wanted to play cruel games, I would show her that I was not as naive as she believed. When I stepped into the kitchen that morning, she was already there, humming softly while making coffee. The smell of roasted beans mixed with her expensive perfume. She looked like she had not a single worry in the world. "Good morning," I said calmly. She turned, that same fake sweetness coating her words. "Good morning, Kathy. Did you rest?" I smiled back. "Yes, and thank you for your hospitality. You really are such a thoughtful hostess." Her eyes flickered. She was trying to read my tone. I gave her nothing. As she turned her back to pour the coffee, I took out my phone and made a quiet call to my neighbor back home. I spoke just loudly enough for her to overhear. "Yes, I spoke to the lawyer yesterday. The pension adjustment and the savings transfer will go through next week. I'll keep the documents in my purse until I return." Her hand froze mid-air. Just for a second. I knew she had heard every word. For the rest of the morning, I noticed a subtle shift in her behavior. Her politeness sharpened, her smiles became tighter. She followed me around the house, offering unnecessary help, pretending to be kind. But I saw the truth flickering in her eyes. Greed. At lunch, Antonio was cheerful, oblivious as ever. He talked about work, about how Diana wanted to renovate the living room. Diana kept glancing at my purse, her eyes darting there again and again. I knew what she was thinking. So I decided to push a little further. "Antonio," I said softly, "do you remember the story about the hidden envelope your father used to keep in the kitchen drawer? The one that saved us when times were hard?" He smiled, nostalgic. "Of course I do. Dad was always careful with money." Diana's fork paused mid-air. "Yes," I continued, looking at her. "He taught me to be careful too. Some things are not meant to be shared, even with family, until the right time." Diana's smile cracked. "That sounds secretive." I tilted my head. "Maybe, but sometimes secrets protect us from the wrong people." The silence that followed was thick. Antonio laughed awkwardly, trying to change the subject, but the damage was done. That evening, I pretended to take a nap in the guest room. Through half-closed eyes, I watched her reflection in the mirror as she quietly entered. Her heels clicked softly on the wooden floor. She looked around, then reached for my purse on the nightstand. My heart raced, not from fear, but from confirmation. The moment her fingers touched the zipper, I sat up. "Looking for something, Diana?" She froze, her face draining of color. "Oh, Kathy, I was just checking if I needed anything," I asked, my voice calm but heavy. Her lips parted, searching for a lie, but none came out. "Do you think I do not see you? The notes, the insults, the way you talk about me when you think I am asleep." Her expression hardened. "You shouldn't have listened." "So you admit it." She exhaled sharply. "You have no idea what it is like living under your shadow. Antonio treats you like gold. Everything you say, he believes. I am tired of it." Her words were shaking, her face red with rage. I stared at her, really stared. "You could have loved me like a mother. Instead, you chose to see me as a competition." Before she could reply, Antonio appeared in the doorway. "What is going on?" Diana turned quickly, her voice trembling but calculated. "Your mother is accusing me of stealing from her." Antonio's eyes darted between us. "Mom, that can't be true." I held his gaze. "Check her purse, Antonio, right now." Diana's face twisted. "How dare you?" But Antonio, confused and alarmed, grabbed her bag from the dresser. When he opened it, his expression changed. Inside, there was an envelope. One addressed to me, my name written across it. Antonio stared at it, then at her. "Diana, why do you have this?" And before she could answer, I realized it was the same handwriting as the note I found in the fridge. Antonio's fingers trembled as he held the envelope. The kitchen light flickered, throwing shadows across his face. "Diana," he said quietly, "why is my mother's name on this?" She stammered. It is nothing, Antonio. Just something I was keeping safe for her." I stepped forward, my heart pounding. "Open it." He hesitated, then tore it open. Inside were printed papers, bank statements. My bank statements, every transaction, every deposit, every withdrawal from my pension account. For a moment, no one spoke. The air felt heavy, thick with betrayal. Then Antonio whispered, "How did you even get these?" Diana's mask slipped completely. "Because she would not give us anything. You know we are struggling, Antonio. She sits there with her savings while we work ourselves to death. I just wanted to know what she was hiding." Her words struck me like cold rain. "I was not hiding anything," I said softly. "That money is what I live on. Your father left it to me, and I was planning to help you both when you were ready. But you?" I turned to Diana, my voice trembling. "You decided to steal before you even asked." Antonio's face went pale. "Is this true?" Diana looked away, tears forming but never falling. "You would not understand. She looks down on me. She always has." I shook my head slowly. "You mistake kindness for control. I welcomed you into this family. I gave you love, and you answered with deceit?" She turned her eyes on me, sharp, desperate. "You are the reason Antonio never makes decisions without asking you first. You make him feel guilty for loving me more." Antonio stepped back, his voice breaking. "Diana, stop. This is not about love. This is about what you did." For a moment, the house was utterly silent. The only sound was the faint hum of the refrigerator, that same refrigerator where I had found her warning note. And then I remembered there was something else inside. Without another word, I walked to the kitchen, opened the fridge, and pulled out the container of leftovers she had so casually mentioned that day. My hands were shaking as I lifted the lid. Inside was not food. It was another envelope, thicker, heavier. I opened it right there in front of them. Inside were printed papers, legal documents, my will, my savings plan, even the property title to my small house in Ohio. Antonio's face went white. "Mom, how did she even get these?" I turned to Diana. "Would you like to explain?" Her face collapsed in panic. I thought I just wanted to make sure everything was safe." "No," I said quietly, tears stinging my eyes. "You wanted to make sure everything was yours." Antonio ran a hand through his hair, stepping away from her. "Diana, I cannot believe this. You went through her personal files? You threatened her?" "I did it for us," she screamed. "You said we were drowning in bills. And this is how you fix it?
A humiliating my mother? His voice thundered through the kitchen. I watched them both, my son, broken and torn, and the woman he once adored, unraveling in front of him. I should have felt triumph, but all I felt was sorrow. Diana turned to me, her face trembling. "You win, Kathy. You always do." And with that, she grabbed her coat and stormed out, slamming the door behind her. Antonio sat down at the table, burying his face in his hands. "Mom, I am so sorry. I did not see it. I should have protected you." I placed a hand on his shoulder. "No, my dear. You cannot protect me from what people hide in their hearts. Some lessons must reveal themselves." He looked up, eyes wet. "What will you do now?" I smiled sadly. "Go home. Rest. Maybe bake something sweet again. I have carried too much pain in my heart these past few days. It is time to let it go." As I packed my things that evening, I paused in front of the refrigerator one last time. Its cold air brushed my face as I looked inside at the empty shelves, the quiet hum, and that single sticky note I decided to leave behind. It said only one thing: love should never taste like leftovers. Sometimes betrayal does not shout. It whispers from the people who smile the widest. I learned that respect and love must walk hand in hand, because love without respect rots, just like food left too long in the cold. If you have ever been made to feel like a burden, remember this: you are not the problem for giving love. The problem lies with those who do not value it. Thank you for watching and listening to my story. If you felt my pain or learned something from it, please take a moment to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to know, what would you have done if you were in my place? And don't forget to subscribe for more true stories that reveal the strength hidden inside our hearts.